Hey everybody, it's Eric, 80s Horror Man here, and welcome to another Top 10 Tuesday, where today I'll be doing my top 10 Eric Roberts movies. He's a, and I know he does like little mixtures, he does a little bit of horror, action, and all that, but he is just a very cool guy, and very nice because I met him at the ScareCon event in 2014, and I had him sign my DVD copy of Best of the Best 2 and told him that movie is always going to be one of my favorites. And he thanked me for it. He appreciated it. And he is just such a good actor. So, anyway, these are my top 10 movies for Eric Roberts. First up is 23 Minutes to Sunrise. This movie is basically where you got four couples at an all night diner. A couple in the middle of a crisis right now, a young punk and his girlfriend, thinking that this is their last stop it before they think they have it going easy for them. A waitress in a bad relationship, and a cook who thinks he's got it big going on it, thinking that he's going to be able to make it big someday. But then a mysterious stranger and a girl come walking into the diner, and this girl kind of goes around offering people to take her place for whoever it was that mysterious stranger has got her for. And apparently, the main thing is do not say yes. That's the main thing. Don't say yes, because if you do, then something bad's going to happen. So, Eric Roberts did pretty good in this one, especially when he was talking to the girl that's with him. When it says tell you what, see that clock on the wall there? That clock counts down every 23 minutes within the next hour. If you can find someone to take your place, you're free to go. Don't waste it. Tick, 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 tick. So, this movie was actually not bad. It was actually interesting to watch. So, 23 Minutes to Sunrise, not bad of a movie. Next is Jake's Road. This movie is basically about where a young man wakes up from a hospital. He's like all bruised and beaten, but then he decides to have a little family get together because now he's like announcing his engagement, but he's also planning on selling his family's country home that was left by his parents who are deceased. But there's a killer going around picking off the family members one by one. So this is like a whodunit kind of thing. You don't know who's going around killing off these family members one by one. Not only this movie has Eric Roberts, but this also has Taryn Terrell, who's known for playing Tiffany in ECW, where not the older version of ECW, but the newer version of ECW when it was owned by WWE at the time, where she was a general manager. So, Jake's Road, not bad of a movie. Next is The Ambulance. Yes, I did a review on this movie earlier this year, just last month, for my 31 Days of Horror. When I met Eric Roberts at the ScareCon event in 2014, I asked him about this movie. He said he wasn't really too crazy about it, because even though, yes, this was done in 1990, and yes, you do see Eric Roberts with a mullet. This movie also has James Earl Jones right there, who's known for playing the detective, but he's also known for playing Darth Vader in the Star Wars movies. So basically, this movie is about where Eric Roberts, he plays a comic book sketch artist, and he meets this woman down the street and he starts talking to her, but then the woman collapses. Then this ambulance comes by, picks her up, and drives off away with her. So he decides to go to the hospital to see her. And turns out when he gets there, they say that they have no record of this woman being admitted at the hospital. So now he has to look for this mysterious ambulance. But once he finds this mysterious ambulance, turns out there's this doctor that's going around just harvesting people's organs and selling them on the black market. So, but this movie was okay when I first saw this after I met Eric Roberts. But then when I started to watch this movie again a couple years later, this movie's really not that bad of a movie to watch. So, The Ambulance, not really too bad of a movie. Next is Raptor. this is a little mixture of action and horror, where Eric Roberts he plays a sheriff who's like investigating these strange murders, and they find some tracks and they think it's some kind of a animal, some kind of wild animal. But turns out that there's this raptor going around on a killing spree. So, now Eric Roberts has to find a way to put an end to this raptor's reign of terror. So, this movie was actually very, very fun movie to watch. I definitely recommend checking out this movie. I just recently watched it earlier this year on the dish. That was my first time seeing, and I ended up liking this one. This was actually very fun to watch. Next is Endangered Species. This movie not only has Eric Roberts in it, but this movie also has Arnold Vosloo, who's known for playing Imhotep in The Mummies and Darkman 2 and 3 and Hard Target. So basically, Eric Roberts, he plays a cop, and he's investigating these murders because someone's going around killing these local clients at local health spas. And it turns out there's this extraterrestrial who's a good guy that's trying to put a stop to this bad head extraterrestrial going around killing people at the local health spa. So now the detective and good alien has to team up to stop this bad alien from going around killing local clients at a local health spa. This movie was also directed by Kevin Tenney, who directed the original Night of the Demons and Witchboard. So, Endangered Species, I definitely recommend checking this one out. Next, Eric Roberts recommended for me to watch this movie when I asked him about it at the ScareCon event, and he recommended for me to check out this movie with him and Lance Henriksen in it, and that's Nature of the Beast. This movie is a suspense movie, and this movie was actually a very good movie. Yeah, about where you got two guys on two different agendas. One of them is on the run from the cops, who end up stealing $100,000 from a casino, and this other person is just going around killing people over the hatchet and writing the words "Hatchet Man" on the vehicles. So you don't know who's who. You don't know who's going around killing people over the hatchet and writing "Hatchet Man," and you don't know who's on the run from the cops. So I asked Eric Roberts what was it like working with Lance Henriksen. He said that Lance was fun to work with, and he was just a very good actor. And Lance Henriksen is a good actor. I like the movies that he's done. But this movie is also directed by Victor Salva, the guy who directed the Jeepers Creepers movies. He ended up doing this one first before he did Jeepers Creepers movies, because this was done in '95. I know some people may not like Victor Salva because of things that he's done. I didn't know the reason why until I looked up on the internet and I saw that he was like arrested for a pedophile. So, do I like the guy? No. Am I going to support the guy? No. But I am going to continue watching this movie and the Jeepers Creepers movies because those movies are actually fun to watch. But I am not going to like the guy because he was arrested for pedophile. So I have to thank Eric Roberts for recommending this movie for me to watch. So Nature of the Beast, very fun movie to watch. Definitely recommend checking that out. Next is No Solicitors. My good friend Felissa Rose recommended for me to watch this movie when they were playing this at the ScareCon event in 2015. I also met the director who directed this movie, shook hands with him, and told him what good job he did on this movie. So this movie is basically about where Eric Roberts, he plays a successful brain surgeon. His wife is a nurse, and their kids help him out on the sides. And bad things end up happening to people, whoever end up approaching their door, and it's clearly above the doorbell that sign says no solicitors. So once they ring the doorbell, bad things happen to them. Because every time bad things happen to them, it just gets worse and worse for them because downstairs in the basement they're being held captive. Each of them missing an arm and a leg. And The family overhears a conversation at a certain hospital saying that this patient needs this certain part or certain organ for them to live. So the family decides to take one of their captives and try to find a match just to save that patient's life. But this also gets worse because the family is also cannibals. So, no solicitors. Very fun movie to watch. A little sick, hiccup, but it was just fun to watch. And I definitely thanked Felissa Rose for recommending this movie to watch because this movie was just fun. Next is Camp Dread. This is the movie that Eric Roberts was promoting when he was at the ScareCon event in 2014. You could watch his interview on YouTube that the guys on Bloodbath and Beyond ended up doing, where they had an interview with Eric Roberts talking about this movie, Camp Dread. But yes, I also did a review on this last month for my 31 Days of Horror. This movie's got Eric Roberts, Danielle Harris, and my good friend Felissa Rose in this one. So basically, this movie's about where Eric Roberts, he plays a washed up movie director who plans on rebooting one of his movies. And they decided to do it over at camp. And next, these people get off the bus hoping that to be in the movie. Then next thing you know, someone's going around killing off these young people at the camp. So this is like a whodunit kind of thing. You don't know who's going around killing people, and you don't know what's going on. But this was actually a very fun movie to watch. I definitely recommend checking out Camp Dread. So if you haven't seen this movie, check it out. Next is Best of the Best. I know the movie's not horror, but this is an action movie, and this is one of the movies he's definitely most recognized for, where 5 Americans are chosen to face 5 of the top Koreans in a karate tournament. So, basically that's the synopsis of this film, where top 5 American karate fighters are chosen to face top 5 of the Koreans in a karate tournament. And this is actually a very good movie to watch. I definitely recommend checking out Best of the Best. And finally, at number 1, one of my favorites of all time, Best of the Best 2. This is a movie I had Eric Roberts sign, as you can tell right there, where he signed it when I met him at the ScareCon event in 2014. The third and the fourth one do not have Eric Roberts in it, but it does have Philip Lee, who's known for playing Tommy Lee in those movies. So basically, this is about where Eric Roberts and Philip Lee are now karate instructors, and they find out that their friend Travis was slain in an illegal match, thanks to the money grubbing people, because the announcer told him that the fans get to decide if he lives or dies. So, once they find their friend, and those 2 karate instructors are bent on vengeance and trying to have a showdown with Brackus, the guy who's responsible for killing Travis. So, Best of the Best 2, I highly recommend checking out this movie because this is definitely one of my favorite movies of all time, and this will always be my favorite Eric Roberts movie of all time. Plus, the song at the end of the film, very good. I definitely can't get enough of it. I can't get enough of that song. It's actually a very good one to listen to. So, Best of the Best 2, highly recommend checking out because this movie is always going to be one of my favorites. Alright guys, so that is it for my top 10 Eric Roberts movies. What do you guys think? Have you seen any of the movies that I showed off? Is there any movies that you like of his that should have been in the video? If so, please let me know in the comments down below. And I do have more movies of his. Like I said, I got some more action movies of his, like with him and Stallone and The Specialist and The Expendables and Also, Gauman, Hitman's Run, The Butcher, Free Fall, and Runaway Train. So, those are the other movies of Eric Roberts I have in my collection. So, again, is there any movies that you liked of his I showed off in the video? Is there any movies that you wish I should have showed off in this video? If so, please let me know in the comments down below. And one more thing, I really do wish that someday that his series Stalked by My Doctor, which is very good ones to watch, parts 1, 2, 3, 4, and he just did a fifth one called Just What the Doctor Ordered. Are very good ones to watch. So I wish and I hope that they'll get like a DVD or Blu-ray release, hopefully, just to add to my Eric Roberts collection. Alright guys, so that is it, and like and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for some more videos. Later.